guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. So for today's video, I was actually asked by some subscribers to kind of explain to you guys what my state board experience was for cosmetology. So if you guys want to listen to me ramble about studying, what you can do to pass the first time you take it, I would highly recommend sticking around and make sure you are subscribed. And yeah, let's hop into today's video. So first of all, you guys, if you are in cosmetology school or you are thinking about going into cosmetology school, a couple things to keep in mind are that honestly, you have to just go right in and get your feet wet, as my mom calls it. You have to see if it's for you. If you are thinking that you're gonna, you know, love the beauty industry, you can become a makeup artist, you can do nails, and the state board actually allows you as a cosmetologist to do all three, so you can do hair, skin, and nails under the license. So that is also a very good thing if you are one of those people that are going into cosmetology and you just want to do nails. Maybe you should check out the nail license. It's basically just, I think it's 600 credit hours, not 1200. Cosmetology is 1200, so just keep that in mind. A lot of people that go into cosmetology school think that the school like basically is your specialty, and it's not. It specializes in all three things, so whenever you get out, you have a basic understanding of hair, skin, and nails whenever you come out. So depending on what your school offers, the actual cosmetology license though is three things: the hair, skin, and nails. So I did want to elaborate on that because a lot of people are, I don't know if it's miscommunication or they just, you should never Google something. Always go to like the DVPR website, you guys, and I can even leave the link in the description box. It gives you every statute, every like official piece of information that you could be looking for. Never Google things, you guys. There's so many misperceived things on Google nowadays, and it's honestly just gonna scare you, give you misleading information, things like that. But as far as my cosmetology experience went, I was in school for about 11 months. I know a lot of you guys like tracked my kind of journey. I did some vlogs. It does get very busy. It is not an easy program, I will tell you that. Lots of studying. My brother's girlfriend is actually currently in cosmetology program here in my area. She said she was inspired by me, so she dove right into it after I got out, and she loves it so far. But it is a lot of work, you guys. Don't think going in that it's going to be a cakewalk, because it's not. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of practical hours with a mannequin, and it gets very boring. Whenever COVID first started, we actually had like a period of time where we had to film here at our houses, and we had to upload 5-minute video increments of us performing perm wraps, things of that nature. So keep in mind that if you do go in during these uncertain times, you might have to do something you don't want to do. Basically, the procedures right now are crazy, and I actually just saw my instructor a few weeks ago. After I passed, I went and gave him a little thank you card and a little gift, and I said thank you so much. You know, I wouldn't have been able to do this without you. And a little bit into my backstory, I have struggled with tests my entire life, you guys. I actually do have a learning disability. I've never opened up about it because I've never wanted people to make me feel like I couldn't reach certain goals because of it. But never judge a book by its cover, because you never know what someone has on the inside and what they don't show you. So I think it's really important to go into it with an open mind. Don't get like super freaked out, you know, like, oh, I'm not gonna be a super strong test taker, because let me tell you, depending on what your school offers, I know like the information has to be basically the same, but if you go to like Paul Mitchell or Toni and Guy, the curriculum might be a little different. I have been in contact with a few students that have went to other like larger, expensive kind of schools. If you go to just like a small community college, it might be like more basic information. Like Toni and Guy learns certain things for Toni and Guy, and Paul Mitchell learns certain things for Paul Mitchell. But at the end of the day, it's all cosmetology related, and they're all the state board standards. So just keep that in mind. I had a girl ask me like, oh, well, what's the difference between going to a community college and going, you know, like spending a little more money and going to like a Paul Mitchell school? So in all reality, you are gonna spend more money because that is their brand, that is their, like what they go by, that's their corporation. They are huge, and yes, you are gonna spend more money, probably. I don't know like what state is gonna charge you. I don't know their curriculum prices. I don't know their class prices. So I really can't answer that, but I do know for sure that it's normally more expensive than going to like a local community college like I did. But at the end of the day, you kind of get the same information. So as far as my experience with the actual test, you guys, all I can tell you is just study. And I know that's gonna sound like super basic, but I studied, like even though we did the whole at-home thing for a few months with COVID, I studied the first like study guide from the first week of school to the last week of school. And I did not want to do that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, like I was so into studying. There were nights that I was like, screw this. Like I have worked so hard. I just want to take this test. But let me tell you, it will help you in the long run. There wasn't one answer on that test that my dog is coming in the door, that I really was like, I really don't know this answer. Like, it was a very good experience for me. There was a few that I was unsure of, but at the end of the day, the more information and the knowledge that you have is going to better you for that test. So the way my test was, it was 2 parts. I don't know if they switched it up because of COVID. I know there's always a theory part and there's a clinical part, but one was my theory, and then the other was my clinical. So the way they did it because of COVID was, it was very procedural. You had to like be patted down. You had to, they didn't check our temperature, which I actually thought was kind of odd. But they did ask you like a whole bunch of questions. Have you been like out of state, stuff like that. They did ask you that. And then like you had to keep like 6 foot away. You couldn't touch the door. You couldn't like do certain things like that. But it wasn't too bad. I mean, I kind of expected going into it. You had to wear a mask during the entire test. That was kind of probably the worst part because I feel like I cannot breathe in those, and I have been wearing them, but and it was hot. It was probably about 75 degrees in that testing room, and I was just like, by the end of it, I mean, I took 4 hours for each test, so that's a long time. Or I'm sorry, I took 2 hours and 2 hours, so it was 4 hours total. So you have 120 minutes, but I ran the clock out on purpose because I went back and checked my entire whole test. It was very exhausting, and I was done by the end of it. I actually, like, my parents said that they actually got worried about me because I took so long, and I told them going into it, like I said, you know, I'm gonna take my time, and I really did, and I think that benefited me as a test taker, I guess, in general. I mean, the coolest thing about the state board is you can get a 75 to pass. That's the minimum that you have to have. They changed the requirement a few years ago. It used to be like a B, now it's a 75, and then it's all multiple choice. And depending on your state, some states require a practical, which just means, like, if you are in cosmetology school, it just means you have a hands-on portion that you have to perform to a proctor or an instructor, and you have to show them that you can complete that whatever roller set, perm wrap, whatever it may be. So I mean, I just think it's really important that you study and you prepare yourself in the best way possible. You guys, I made over 200 flashcards, and I had my brother's girlfriend, my mom, my boyfriend, like, they all helped me. Just, if it's recall and you can recite it back to that person, you know it. And that's how I was. I would be like, don't give me the answer because I can figure it out. And don't get discouraged if you are in cosmetology school and things are hard, because it is not easy. Let me tell you, people think cosmetology is easy. It is not. You have to know the law of color. You have to know how to mix colors. You have to know, and just keep in mind that you will learn more as you go. You cannot get frustrated and discouraged that you don't know how to do a roller set perfect, or you don't know how to do a perm set, you know, perfect, because honestly, that's gonna happen. And you will just get better. Practice makes better. I know people say practice makes perfect, but that's not always true, because none of us are perfect. So my general opinion would be just practice, practice, practice. And that's honestly the best advice that I can give you for the actual, like, school portion of it. You just really have to dive in and try and give your best effort. But I mean, like I said, it really depends on what your school, how they do it, the procedures that they teach, the curriculum. But at the end of the day, it's all state statutes. Like, you have to know it for state board. I'm trying to I'm trying to stay on topic, but I'm trying to get all the information in and not try to make this video like super, super long for you guys. But yeah, so you guys are just seeing this video. I went into cosmetology in 2019. Came out in 2020, so it took me about 11 months to complete everything. It's about a year roughly, let's just say that, because most people are like, was it a year? It's technically a year. So it does go by very, very fast. I will tell you, if you are on task and you show up every day and I mean, you're not always going to be motivated, let's be for real. But if you are there, your hours, it will be fine. A lot of times people do not make it because they are at a doctor's appointment, or they make up all these excuses. And I understand, like, people have personal lives. I understand that completely. But when you have to be there for those hours, let me tell you guys, it is not easy to make them up. I was one of those people that I was dedicated, even those days that I did not want to go. Like, I wanted to go, but I was kind of like, oh, like, I just want this to be over with, because you do get tired of it. The school aspect of it, you don't get tired of, like, the hands-on, or at least I didn't. It really depends, like, what kind of person you are, if you want to go through with it, if you're serious about it, stuff of that nature. But if you are there at school and you're on task, you guys, you will be fine. I had one girl, she was freaking out. She was like, I have a little baby. Like, I mean, find someone to watch her, you know, like, you can do this. You honestly just have to stay on task. And you don't want to be sitting there with the next group's cosmetology school next year. That can happen if you don't get your hours, because if you don't have those 1,200 hours by the end of your semester, you do have to usually come back next year. Some instructors don't even give you that leniency. A lot of instructors don't really give a crap if you're there or not. It is college, unless you're doing a program where it's like high school, like you're in high school and you're like a junior or a senior and you're doing a cosmetology program that way. That really just depends on what their standards are. But if you are doing it from college, 9 times out of 10, unless you have a super nice instructor like we did, we were very fortunate. We did have that instructor that would tell you, like, you're missing this, you need to do this, you need these many hours. I even told my instructor several times, I was like, you are too nice. Like, most instructors would be like, listen, you don't want to be here, hey, it's your choice, you're doing this for you. If you don't want this, then you don't want this. Like, most of them are not going to sit there and spoon feed you. It's just not going to happen. We're adults. I'm 22 years old. I'm not going to expect somebody to spoon feed me. I may ask a lot of questions because I'm not, you know, sure of everything, but I'm not going to sit there and be disrespectful and not show up to class and, you know, like, not listen. Like, it does get frustrating, and I will tell you that there will be some sort of drama and that's not downing cosmetology school. It's just, it's the atmosphere. There's always going to be somebody that picks you apart. There's always going to be somebody that hates that you're always on task, that you always have great grades, that you put 110 in. That's just my honest opinion, and I have not made the best decisions within cosmetology school. I did get wrapped up in friendships. I did get hurt. There was a lot of things that went on, and it was bad on my part. I let people use me for my academics, and it hurt at the end of the day because I'm a team leader and always pushing for that person to be like, oh, like, girl, you got this. Like, I've always been like that. So to individualize myself and step back and say, okay, like, you want this harder than they do, and they may want it, but their, like, actions show differently. And I'm not sitting here and saying I didn't care, because I really did care full-heartedly, but I was putting so much effort into caring that I was getting hurt in the end, because it was kind of like I'm over here giving 110 and there's another group that they care, but they don't really want like that team aspect. Like, they just want to do it on their own, and that's completely fine. But if you are one of those people like me, that you find that group of people that you can unite with, and you think that, oh, like, we can all do this together. If they don't want that, let them do their own thing. Because let me tell you, like I said, team leader aspect, I was always cheering people on, always saying like, oh, girl, like, how'd you do on your test? Like, we got this. Like, and some people aren't wired that way, and you will find that out. And don't let that hurt you, or just don't even go into it with that mindset. Just go in, I'm here to do school, I'm here, you know, I'm not here to make friends. And I'm not saying you can't make friends, but don't get wrapped up in the wrong things, because you will get hurt in the end. And not everybody sees it from that aspect. Not everybody sees that it is hurting you. Not everybody sees what they're doing may be hurting your feelings. And I think it's really important to just stick to yourself, because if you do allow people to take advantage of you, it will only end up hurting you in the end. Because at the end of the day, they may be totally blind to the fact that you are being hurt as a person, and that it's not jokingly or, you know, things like that. And I'm not going to get emotional, but I had some really rough patches with friends and stuff, and there were things that I did were wrong, and I feel there were things that they did were wrong, but at the end of the day, it made us all stronger, and it made us learn things. So I think it's really important to just stick to yourself, and if you want this, like, go in 110, show up to class, do your work. Don't cheat, because if you cheat, like, the state will know, and your instructor will tell the state, and you will not get your cosmetology license. So definitely don't do that. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it, you guys. I'm not trying to make this video super, super long, but if you guys do have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me. I will put my Instagram on the screen for you guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support, and I can't wait to show more of my salon kind of atmosphere with you guys. I am in a salon. I'm an independent stylist. I do pay booth rental. I can definitely make a video about that. I did go straight into booth rental out of cosmetology school. I did not want to work a corporate job. That is a whole nother video if you guys want to see that. And I definitely will film that for you. But for today's video, I hope you guys learned a few things about your nerves of going into cosmetology school, what to expect going into cosmetology school. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to just reach out. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you guys so, so much for tuning in to today's video. Don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, become part of my Jam fam. I would love to have you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video.